Gemini, this is your weekly tarot card reading from Born Without Boundaries Tarot. It is for Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. There's always an extended reading, guys, which I invite you to join me for. That link is right down below. And you also have the choice of joining the Unbound membership to this channel, which will give you unlimited access to all of the extended readings for the life of your membership, plus all of the other membership perks. So check that out. If any of you guys have said, what kind of lipstick is she wearing? What equipment does she use? If you're curious about any of this you see, there's a little shopping bag icon now that YouTube has that basically will help you place all of these products that it can locate. So yeah, take a look if you're curious, if you have those questions. Gemini, this content, your reading comes out every single Thursday. Yeah, Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific time. That's over here on the West Coast. So be sure to subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so that you know when I upload your favorite content. And if you want to join me for daily tarot card readings, they're general tarot card readings that I do live on my second YouTube channel called Astrology Motivation. Check that link above. I hope to see you guys there too. And remember to like and share this on your social media platforms and comment below. Okay, so all of that is said. We're going to start off with the astrology and then we're going to go into the cards. Now, the astrology this week is profound, to say the least. You start off with a square to Jupiter and then you get a square to Chiron not too long after that, simultaneous with a sextile to Uranus. Mercury is getting closer and closer and closer to the sun, which means by the middle to end of this week, you will be conjunct the sun. By Wednesday of next week, you will be in conjunction with the sun in perfect opposition to Pluto opposite the moon. This for you is transformational, it's an understatement. Those things that you feel dogged on, those things that you feel always griped on, like people are always on your heels and nagging you, never giving you credit for things, or those things that you honestly felt in your life, well, I'm never going to get it. I might as well give up now. I'm never going to be right. Here's the thing. You don't ever have to be right. You don't ever have to get it. You just have to keep trying, because that's really what life is. Life is all about the doing and the learning. And with that square to Chiron, with the sextile to Uranus, you are changing and you are learning. You're learning by struggling. So there is something difficult or challenging that you're going through right now that is teaching you how to do things differently and be different. And even though right now in the beginning of the week, you're not going to be able to see it and it's going to frustrate you and feel really, really discouraging, I promise you, so do not give up, because it absolutely does get better, because by mid to end of this week, it's all going to come together. Mercury conjunct the sun is absolutely brilliant. Complete and total acceptance of the self and understanding of exactly who you are and how that works. So there is a coming, even in opposition to Pluto, Pluto conjunct the moon, it's almost a sense of starting to really be able to dive deep and dig into those subconscious things or those unconscious things that suddenly it's like there's an awareness. There's awareness on the dark stuff. If you have been digging and searching and looking for answers to something, this is when you're going to discover it. This is when you're going to have a breakthrough. Wednesday, Thursday of next week. It's almost like a big old light is going to be shown on those issues or secrets that have been kept, information that has been hidden, and definitely like illnesses or sicknesses or addictions that have been out of your hands, like maybe taking over you, but whatever, like you're not willing to admit it, but like you didn't see it. It could be you or other people. Either way, you're gonna know it now. It's good. It's almost like there's a light that's suddenly there, because this is when the full moon happens. Yep, this is when the full moon happens. So you have this light in the dark as the moon is conjuncting Pluto, and that's crazy. To have a full moon conjunct Pluto is is crazy psychic energy. It's deep psychology. It's deep comprehension and understanding of the inner workings of our emotions and our psyche, brought to life through intellect and courage. So there's such a dramatic opening up and understanding, where before it could have been an impossibility. Now it's exactly what needs to happen at the right time. And with your clever mind, you will be able to really, I think, comprehend it, understand it, accept it, and know what to do with it. Now, this could also be global, right? Because something this big is often global. So this could be through Gemini. So through communications, through personal interactions, something exposed, something like, it's almost like Watergate. I gotta tell you that right now. It's almost like that. It's almost like that sense of through personal communications, all of a sudden they come to light and somebody gets caught out on their shit. And that could actually all of a sudden break things wide open in terms of the globe or the meta consciousness. So let's watch around that time for that stuff too. But in your personal life, this is when the hidden becomes obvious, and you got there because you did not give up. And I can't say this enough. You're only a little while away. This is only a week. This is only the next 5 days. It's going to feel like, oh, I'm never good enough. I'm not good enough. Why do I feel this way? Why? Your questions will be answered. And they will be answered by the end of this week. Gemini. 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 The cards fall as they will. So, central energy, reclaim your power. It's also coming out of the dark, especially if you feel like you've been buried or buried under certain trials, obligations, or sort of people dogging you. I think I used that word earlier. That's what the beginning of this week is going to feel like. But this is almost like your test ground. This is almost like you are being tested. And how can you persevere? You can persevere through cleverness. You can persevere predominantly through curiosity, Gemini. So that's what I really want you to focus on now, is persevering through by way of curiosity. Just curious about what I'm going to see, or where I'm going to reach, or how I'm going to get to the next day, or what's going to happen. I feel like there's a little bit of intrigue going on in your life right now. You are going to be able to come out of this. You're reclaiming your power by enduring this. And that's what the square to Chiron is all about. We have dragonfly spirit, truth transcends illusion. You saw something a long time ago that you made public. And ultimately, I don't think that a lot of people agreed with you. Now, what I mean by public is it doesn't have to be like fucking, all over the news. I don't know how public your life is, but you told people and you mentioned it, you said it, you called it, right? But ultimately, I don't think you were believed. There might have been a lot of pushback, but it's okay because you at least felt like you had a right to be who you are and say what you needed to say. You had the strength of character to do it. And then you just sat back and watched. What the fuck is a motherfucker gonna say? Like, how are they gonna react to this? It's like you let the cage bird out. You let the message out. You reported what you saw. You said it, right? You said what you needed to say because you were bold, because of self-confidence. Like really feeling strong communications, being able to communicate exactly who you are. Your truth. I don't want to hide anymore. I don't want to hide what I think anymore. Okay. Then watch and wait. And I think there's a trine between Mercury and Neptune right now, or this week. There's just this sense of faith. Being connected to faith and speaking through faith. And having that confidence and that sort of sense of self through faith, through knowing I'm doing the right thing here. Since Neptune is in retrograde right now, it's also about pulling back the veil. And this is why there's contention, Gemini. Because you're talking or saying something that goes against a dream people want to believe. An illusion that was pretty for them and comfortable for them to get lost in. And at this point, there's a lot of discomfort because, like, aimed toward the person who would expose something or speak up. But that can easily turn around to, holy crap, wow, you were right. Easily. If you were right. If you were right. Right? And this is a sense of reclaim your power now. After saying what you needed to say and exposing a truth that needed to be exposed, confronting something that you needed to confront, that's how you reclaim your power. It doesn't even matter about the reward. It doesn't even matter about instantaneous gratification. For you, what it mattered was you did this, and that's how you reclaimed your power. You spoke up. You spoke out. You did what you needed to do. And at this point, there's not a sense so much that you need to do anymore. There's just a sense of how much people are going to struggle to catch up. Right? Then we have transformation is beautiful. Going to the next level of your life. So how about this? In the same way that you had to shed light on shit and people had to deal with it, you now have to deal with the fact that you're not the same person and your life isn't the same. You can't go back to where you were before you blew the whistle. Like, the people aren't going to see you the same way. They might see you so much better, but at the same time, that puts you on a higher level. You can't be around the same people or be looked at as the same anymore. You're different. You've changed. Let that happen. Now, this is about embracing the change and the growing pains that go along with it. Because there are growing pains. And that's kind of what you're experiencing now, which is why I would say the cards are suggesting this week, it's really important for you to declutter and focus on only those, like, if you're doing 10 things, whittle it down to 2. Don't try to do so much or have so many balls in the air because they'll end up dropping and smacking on your head. This is a week where you got to give yourself space make room to predominantly be able to grow. Right? If you try to grow, and this is that square to Jupiter. This is what square to Jupiters teach us. If you try to grow in too many ways all at once, it's like a shrapnel bomb that just goes off. You have to trim the fat and put the shit down, clear things out, get rid of things so that you have room to expand and grow. Because like it or not, your world is expanding or growing. The expectations people have of you are expanding or growing. You did this. And there's something on the other side of it, and that is responsibility. You know, you're more self-possessed, you're vindicated, but there's just shifts and changes. So get rid of that clutter. Get rid of everything that doesn't really matter, because you've got to give yourself the time to be able to go through these growing pains without feeling like you're being made to suffer. Because you're not actually being made to suffer. You're just expanding. Okay. We have healing yourself. This is about really like getting to the nitty-gritty of holistic healing, eating right, being healthy, making sure that you have everything in your house to help yourself heal yourself. To-do list, Capricorn. Once again, getting things done. Capricorn and Chiron. You're healing. And I feel like you're healing from the restrictions somebody put on you, from the chains or barbed wire somebody put around you. That's being chopped off And you're sort of like learning, how do I deal with these new scars? How can I use them? How can I make them purposeful? Like what was the purpose of everything that I went through? To help others. I mean, that's essentially what it is. It's to pave way, break open doors, you know, pull up windows and expose. Like it's like that's kind of what it was all for. You could be actually going to the doctor or getting some treatments for actual injuries that have happened to you and going through literal growing pains or healing pains that is happening, which is why it's like clear your schedule. Please let your healing and your growth be the primary thing you do in this energy, because you need it, because you have been dogged for so long and the devil has been at your heels for so long. It's almost like coming down from those adrenaline fight or flight rushes. And honestly, there is humility there, and there should be, because when you come out of something ridiculously difficult, it's humbling. And you're going to be surprised at the way you experience these victories. They're not going to be like partying, rebel rousing. They're going to be quieter. They're going to be more, what can I do with this? This is also a sense, I'll tell you this right now. If you're involved with a business or have a boss or some sort of relationship with a company or something, they're going to try to heal and make nicey with you. Yeah, like this could be the week that your boss calls in and says, hey, sorry about that. Can you come back to work? Kind of thing. Or when can you come back to work after your workman's comp? And it's just like, nah, I'm not. It's because you've changed. Like in other words, whatever hurt you might try to come back now and make up for, make amends. I wouldn't even take the phone call, to be honest with you. Not because you're intentionally ignoring the call, because you really don't have time for that right now. And you're not in the same almost universe anymore. You're just not on that same plane. And you have no obligation to. Reclaim your power. But I think it's going to be vindicating when somebody finally says, hey, you know what, we need you. And let it, but it doesn't mean you have to accept the offer. It's like when the ex calls, you can be like, yeah, I knew you'd miss me, bitch. But I have no desire to go back. It's almost like that. Rejoice and celebration. Maybe you will be celebrating. Because this is, in other words, this has a happy ending. Shit. You got a lot to talk about. Okay, after you clear out the clutter and go through these growing pains, there's a lot to be thankful for. You actually might be celebrating something. Choose wisely. Maybe celebrating the good choices that you've made. So now that you've learned how to never make the painful mistakes again, it becomes now clearer what are the good choices for you. Memories are being around better people. It's like raising your standards with the people you allow in your life. That's what I see going on here. And then we have memories of love. Yes, okay. Maybe reminiscing. Being around people who you care about, or in some ways making amends, or you yourself trying to make amends. Like it's almost like realizing who the stinkers are, getting rid of them, and then celebrating the good people in your life that always stood by you and being around them. Trapped in fear has to do with, I don't know, what are you trapped in fear of? You might be a little bit afraid that this person isn't even going to want to talk to you again. But I think you're ready for that too. You're ready for the no, get away from me. Okay. I just want to let you know that I love you and I appreciate everything you've done for me. It's that kind of energy. The waiting game, right? Trapped in fear. What are you waiting for? Or you've been this choice, like somebody is waiting for an answer to somebody's question of them. Like somebody made a proposal, somebody proposed something to you, and it's like, oh God, are they going to respond? Are they going to respond? Are they going to respond? Have patience. Have patience and don't push. You have healing to do. Have patience, don't push, because you will end up winning. As long as you have patience. Give somebody the time they need to think shit through. You don't want to try to force anything down anybody's neck right now. But ultimately, there's this like something that you've waited for a long time and you've been patient with. It's growing and it's going to yield productivity, happiness, joy. Yeah, you've been waiting. Let's go to the extended because I know there's more. I'll see you guys there.